and welcome to CX Today. I'm Rhys Fisher, Deputy Editor, and for today's big CX update, I'm delighted to be joined by Paul Stanczak, the VP of Sales at Enghouse. Paul, thanks for joining me. How are you doing?
Rhys, thanks for having me. I'm doing great. It's a nice morning here in Toronto today.
Yeah, it's lucky for some. It's very much an unpleasant afternoon here in South Wales, but I'm glad you've got
Isn't
some
that
decent
always
weather.
the way?
So today we're going to be looking at, I suppose the main topic here is how organizations and professionals can really deliver customer experience in what's become quite a dynamic market. So, Paul, could you maybe start by telling us about what you see as the biggest challenges that are making it difficult for CX leaders to maybe plan with confidence today?
Yeah, I think it's probably the same as before, but things are moving even faster. But the real challenge is the customer expectations are moving, a lot faster than maybe before, especially given some of the technology advancements, AI, and business needs that are changing. Whether in certain ways, whether you're interacting with a company like Apple or JP Morgan, the customer requires the same sort of experience and expects the same sort of experience, which is difficult to deliver depending on the budgets and the technology landscape and some of the competitive pressures.
Yeah, you talk about, I think, tight budgets. That's something we hear a lot about. Where do you think CX leaders, perhaps in these sorts of environments with those tight budgets, should focus first to, avoid falling behind or maybe wasting their budgets?
Yeah, well, you said it there actually in the question, which is focus. I think that's an important piece of it because I think it's very easy for CX leaders to fall into the FOMO trap. They want to do everything at once, but you can't solve every problem all at once. So I think starting with the fundamentals, going back to how are your customers interacting with you, which channels do they prefer? Do they have a self-service options? Which ones do they want to use? And those basics will build the foundation of consistency. And then from that, you can, enhance those channels and enhance the delivery of those to the customers over time and build some, productivity tools, automation tools to help those experiences through those channels.
Yeah, I like I haven't heard that phrase used in this context before, but FOMO, I think that's so accurate. I think, as
Yeah.
you've touched on, it's linked to that
I
hype
mean,
that
you
we've
you
got in the
see
CX
it.
market right
Yeah, you see it in the market constantly. There's news of companies, introducing some tools and announcing that they're going to get rid of, hundreds of folks in their contact center, and then a month later they undo the decision, and it turns out that they're going back to the previous model. So that first press release probably has you thinking about am I doing everything that I need to do? Do I need more tools? Do I need to do the same thing? And it's a bit of a trap in certain ways.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of, we won't name names, we'll keep it nice, but there's been a couple of
I
high
didn't
profile
name any
examples of
names.
that, hasn't
I did
there?
not name any names.
Um, so given that, how do you think CX leaders can sort of cut through that noise and prioritize what really matters and what will really deliver for their CX programs?
Yeah. So number one, it's asking yourself, does this technology make life better for my customers and easier for my employees? Both things need to happen sort of in unison. If the answer is no, then it's probably just hype, right? Effective AI and automation can transform a service, but as we discussed, poor implementations can do the opposite. They can hurt your brand. They can hurt your customer experience. And some of the statistics out there, millennials are now the largest portion of the labor force, and they expect these interactions to be uniform across the different brands. And they're actually, I think, 60% more likely to leave a brand if they have a bad experience. So that's important. And again, it brings to that CX leader, it brings that confidence level down a little bit because they don't want to put that relationship at risk. So.
Yeah, I suppose that's kind of maybe a theoretical or overview of things, but are there any perhaps more specific practical tech investments that you personally believe we can deliver immediate or significant improvements?
For sure, and we touched on them a little bit earlier, but seamless self-service, omni-channel access, all of those things. I think in certain cases, certain companies actually still are behind. CX leaders could be still behind on those, and so and second, sort of smarter behind the scenes automation, because before you put everything in front of the customer, behind the scenes you can do some automation and get some analytics that help you determine how to build that customer interaction from the data that you're collecting from those customers and those contact centers in behind the scenes. So it helps you develop the ROI to take that next step on the journey. It helps you solve a problem that's not maybe as impactful to the end customer if you get it wrong, and then it makes you get that ROI, and then you can move on to that next project with much more confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned ROI there, because I think that kind of going back to what we talked about earlier, what you need to prioritize, I think that needs to be right at the top as well, doesn't it? It's no good having all the bells and whistles if it's not actually delivering on the bottom end. So yeah, completely
Yeah,
agree
it
there.
can't be just that shiny object, right? It has to deliver something concise to the company and to the customer experience,
Yeah,
business outcomes.
definitely. Yeah. So I suppose we talked about kind of specific products there. When it comes to, and this comes back to the start, this dynamic marketplace there, there's plenty of vendors and partners to choose from at the minute. So when it comes to organizations making that decision, what do you think leaders should be looking for beyond just the technology itself in their chosen partner?
Right. I think they need to be looking for a partner that has, been around for a long time, understands customer experience, has delivered technology and solutions throughout, the last 10 or 20 years of a dynamic market. I'm sure we could have had this conversation, 10 years ago, and we would have thought it was pretty dynamic back then. And so there has been shifts in the industry over time. So you'd like to have a partner that has lived through those shifts and understands how those shifts impact businesses and impact customer experience. So I think that's where, Enghouse is fairly uniquely positioned, because we have been in this business for, over 40 years. And so we've seen some of these waves of technology changes come through, and we've understood how to help our customers and our partners, move through those shifts.
Yeah, and again, I like the reference to partner. I think that's an important aspect of it as well. When I speak to leaders, I think it's quite notable people who look at it like a partnership versus just a
Well, yeah,
customer
it's
sort
like
of
an
relationship.
extension of your CX team, right? We talked about sort of the tight budgets and the technology landscape that's changing very quickly. You can't expect your CX team that is, again, gone through some maybe budget tightening or maybe resource constraints to know everything that's going on in the market. You do need a partner or a solution provider that can be an extension of your team and can understand what's happening in the market and deliver those solutions that are right for you at the time.
Yeah. Do you see that partnership that it can also help CX leaders perhaps feel more confident, more informed about their future investments or just the future of their businesses?
Yes, for sure. I mean, confidence comes from number one, historical experience, right? How long have they been around? Are they stable? Are they delivering on their promise to customers over not 1 year, 2 year time horizons, but maybe 10 or 20 years? And we've had customers that we've been doing that with for that long. You have to have a partner that when when things change in the market, when new technologies come on board, they don't necessarily push you into those boundaries that are uncomfortable and maybe bring some some lack of confidence, but they move at your pace and they make sure that you're comfortable with every step of that journey, and you never go sort of another term, I guess, ahead of your ski tips or things like that, right?
But yeah, next question. It's something we always kind of like to ask when we get these opportunities to speak to people like yourselves to kind of pick your brains about the advice that perhaps you would give. So, what would you say to CX leaders about helping them to kind of deliver certainty in this dynamic market that we've talked about?
Yeah, for sure. And we've touched on a couple of these items, but not chasing those trends just for the sake of it. Don't fall into that FOMO trap that we discussed before. Really getting an understanding of what each of those tools can bring to your business and what business ROI will you receive from it, and then focus on those, delivering those reliable pieces that end up giving you a consistent experience that your customers can count on. Doesn't matter which channel they're interacting with you. And so, the idea is to choose the partner that can help you do that has experience in each one of those channels, and isn't perhaps, a point solution that promises, an evolution or even a revolution to your CX. Because often, those point solutions require a very consistent, stable base in order to work. So you got to take care of that base first before you reach.
Yeah, I think that's a really nice kind of, I think, a summary of some of the main points we've hit on so far there. Uh, just for this last question, I suppose we're stepping a little bit away from the idea of the dynamic marketplace specifically. But looking ahead, is there anything that excites you, in terms of opportunities for CX leaders in the future?
Yes, I think because the market is shifting so quickly, and solutions are getting developed so quickly, and there's a lot of leaders that are willing to do some experimentation. I think because it's moving so quickly, the noise will also settle pretty quickly, and the practical AI that actually delivers business solutions will start popping out of that noise, and that's where CX leaders can gravitate to and attach their investments to, and move forward with those. I don't like the term fast follower, right? But it's really an agile innovator or a rapid innovator that is going to I think win here and transform their customer experience without falling into some of those traps. Just as a way of examples, Apple was not the first personal computer. Facebook was not the first social media network, and so so it's not actually that bad to be just behind the forefront, because you're getting you're getting the solutions that have risen above the noise and actually delivered some real change and and evolved your customer experience.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting, like you said there, about that settle down phase that will almost hit, whether it's in a year, 2 years, 3 years, and kind of to see
Yes,
what stuck, what hasn't, what just the shape of the space in that time. I think that's going to be fascinating.
for sure. And we're excited about it because we deliver some of those solutions, if not all of those solutions, hopefully in the future. Because again, nobody can tell you what is coming down the road. You have to partner with somebody that is looking at that with an even closer eye than perhaps you have time to, because you have to deliver some actual business insights and move your business forward. So we're a partner that can help you do that, and is at the forefront of where the technology is going and how each piece of that technology roadmap can help your business.
Yeah, absolutely. That's I suppose the major benefit of looking at these kind of partnerships with vendors.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks for that, Paul. I think that's been a really great chat. I think we've covered a lot of concerns and pain points that are quite present in the space at the minute, and I think we've done a bit then to perhaps address some of those areas. So yeah, just thanks again for joining me. It's been a really interesting chat.
Thanks, Rhys. It's been a great chat, very insightful and great questions. So I appreciate the opportunity.
No problem. Thank you very much. I would also like to just quickly thank our viewers as well for tuning in. If you enjoyed this, please do like and subscribe. And remember, you can visit cxtoday.com for more stories like these. Until next time, thank you for watching.